I relapsed on NoFap multiple times a week for over 2.5 years straight. But in the past 6 months, I actually haven't even fapped once, which I've documented on my vlog channel. And one of the biggest things that I did was fixing my digital environment. So when I was younger, I used to scroll a lot on TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, these kinds of platforms. I would, for example, come home after school, be tired as fuck because of all the bullshit in school, and I would grab some nice food. I'd lay on the couch, grab my phone, start scrolling, right? And because of the fact that all these platforms promote extremely provocative and sexual content, like all this softcore porn, I would stumble across it, I would stumble upon it. And as a teenager, as like a 15-year-old, of course, I'm going to get a lot of urges from that shit. I just hit puberty, and, your testosterone levels start fucking, skyrocketing at that point. And you're so much more prone to these kinds of triggers, right? And so I used to scroll, and I see these girls doing their glute days or some shit like that, right? And like it's very much in demand. A lot of guys like to watch that shit. And so of course the platforms are going to promote it. That's just how it works, right? And so I would get all of these urges. I would resist them. No, I'm not going to fap. No, of course not. Because I was on NoFap and I wanted to not relapse, right? But I would stay on the app for some reason. I would stay on the app, and the urges would just accumulate and build up and get heavier and heavier, and it got harder and harder to resist. And so at some point I collapsed. My willpower fatigue just got too much, and I ended up going into the bathroom and wanking it. It's obviously embarrassing when I tell the story, but at the time it was quite annoying for me, like really frustrating. I was embarrassed of myself, and I didn't really know what to do. But it was like, the thing is, all these platforms are built to promote degenerate content, because people these days basically don't have any fucking brain cells, and so they are going to watch this content, this overstimulating fucking sexual content. And so we need to realize this and make sure that we're aware of the platforms that we're on. You're probably on YouTube right now watching this video, right? And you need to know that you are incurring the risk of getting triggers when you are on these kinds of apps. And so the natural question for me was, why the fuck do I keep these apps in my phone, right? Like it's surprisingly simple, but yet like so many people don't do it. Like they still have TikTok and Instagram on their phones. And the thing is, if you have zero self-respect, then by all means go ahead, keep those apps on your phone. But if you actually want to make real progress on your NoFap journey, delete these fucking apps. I know it sounds so simple, but the thing is, if you can eliminate an entire channel, an entire supply chain of urges into your mind like that, why the fuck are you not doing it? Because the thing is, we can either sit here and be like, yeah, I know there's a lot of sexual content on these apps, but I need them for some other reasons. I have some special snowflake excuse, right? Sure. The thing is, if you actually need to be on these apps, like myself, I post content on these apps, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. But do I keep those apps on my phone? Fuck no. Why not? Because I don't need to. I download the app when I need to do something. I upload the video, then I delete it. I'm not gonna, once I grew a pair of balls, I realized that keeping these apps on my phone was absolutely and utterly disrespectful to myself, because you are literally asking to get triggered. Like, it's kind of like if you had a girlfriend and she went out and to party and shit, like basically being provocative and inviting other guys to come fuck her, basically. That's it. Like, you're inviting these urges to come and conquer you, which is so cuckish. It's so haram, right? Fuck that shit. And so if you still have these apps on your phone, even Snapchat, for example, as well, which a lot of people these days, a lot of kids use for communication with their friends, right? The thing is, if they're actually your friend, then you don't need to have Snapchat. Like, you can just connect with them through WhatsApp or some other normal messages. It's you don't need the fucking apps. Like, I heard this from another guy on YouTube. He was like, Mark Zuckerberg is clapping your cheeks right now. Like, if you are fapping and you get a lot of urges from Instagram, for example, and you still keep Instagram on your phone because you think you need it for some reason, right? You are literally being a slave to the app. You are arguing against yourself. I'm arguing for you. I'm arguing for your success in terms of NoFap and in terms of everything, right? Like, if I, I would not try to convince you to do something that will be bad for you, because I'm talking to my younger self right now. And so you need to get the fuck off these apps And you need to eliminate all of these like limiting beliefs that, oh man, no, I need Instagram to DM some people. Oh, this girl, she actually text me back. I'm FaceTiming this chick on Snapchat a couple times a week. Like, delete it, man. Either if you actually want and need to stay in contact with these people, which if we're real, you probably don't, just get them off the app. Communicate with them through WhatsApp, for example, or through messages, whatever. It honestly befuddles me that like people don't do this shit, because it's such an easy, elementary, fundamental thing in terms of nofap. I shouldn't even have to make this video, but I have to do so because I know there are a lot of people that are still stuck at this stage and haven't taken action on this shit. People in my community are like, dude, how do you deal with urges through social media? Like, how do you deal through urges, or how do you deal with urges through social media? You're not on social media. Like, what the fuck are you? It's kind of like it's like having, you know, it's like being married and having like a prostitute next to you, that you have the thing that you don't want to indulge in, that you are potentially going to indulge in and basically cheat with next to you, which is so retarded. Like, what the fuck? Like, it doesn't make sense at all. So if you still have all these lustful, like just lust promoting sexual apps on your phone, like Instagram, TikTok, all these things, delete them, man. Delete them. It's as simple as that. And I also want to add another thing. If you listen to music that promotes this kind of content, if you listen to rap music, if you listen to normal like pop music where they're talking about sex and relationships and I'm obsessed with this fucking girl, and or some rapper, some degenerate fucking, you know, some American rapper singing about, oh, I'm fucking all these girls, you're a bitch, I'm the man, I make all the money, and they're promoting this lustful energy, like fucking, you know, just low energy, lustful, low frequency fucking energy, and you plug that shit into your ears, and also that you're basically a cuck because you're listening to someone else talking about how much better he is than you, which is just, it's kind of like porn if we think about it. If you are doing that on a regular basis, which I used to do when I was on nofap, like, don't get it twisted, I used to do that shit, but I realized after I grew a fucking pair of balls that this is gas shit, you know? If you listen to some rap music and you get a bunch of like visualizations and fantasies about, yeah, I'm that guy, oh yeah, me and this rapper, we're kind of like one, and you're visualizing yourself as the guy who's rapping, and that you're fucking the bitch, and you're fucking this other, you know, all that shit, right? You're literally supplying your brain with urges, and the thing is, like something that like a rapper is rapping about, it might not actually trigger you right now, but when you're supplying your brain with this content, it might trigger you a few hours later, in a few days later. You have that content, that supply like fucking information in your mind, which your brain might generate randomly at some point, right? And so I would urge you, if you want to make progress on nofap, stop listening to rap music, stop listening to this degenerate shit, like all these, like basically all music these days is promoting sex and lust and all these things, and it's so haram, it's so disgusting, you know? And I feel like, at least for me, I used to listen to rap a lot because here in Sweden there's a huge culture for rap, and we've got like a bunch of rappers and that everyone knows and shit. I used to listen to that shit all the time because it puts you into this hype, aggressive mode that you feel like a conqueror, like a king. You walk into the gym and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna hit a PR, I'm gonna fuck that bitch or some shit like that. But all you're doing is conditioning yourself to be a beta male, like not an alpha, like a beta, right? And what is porn? Pornography is looking at someone, observing someone, doing the thing that you want to do. And so what is rap, or what is listening to rap music? The same thing. It's the same fucking thing. You're listening to someone doing something that you want to do, and this just like this link, this conditioning, this association, all this stuff, it just makes you more likely to fap, because fapping is a beta behavior. It is not an alpha behavior. The alpha male fucks, the alpha fucks and the beta wanks, right? That's just how it works, right? Not that you have to be a degenerate and go sleep with a bunch of girls, but like, if you're conditioning yourself to be a beta male, because you're doing it on a subconscious level, maybe not like consciously, you feel like a king, but in general, like actually on a subconscious level, your mind is getting used to the fact, it is familiarizing itself with the fact that you are basically the observer, not the partaker, which is just, it's cockish and it's disgusting. And so if you can get away from all this modern day bullshit, like, scrolling on social media, seeing all this provocative content, and listening to this gay ass fucking cuckish beta music, like all the rap and all the blue pill shit as well. If you can get away from that shit, bro, you'll be so far ahead. Like, you're cutting off like a huge supply of urges, which is so powerful. And I wish I did this earlier, because it really, like, it's such a simple thing, and it doesn't actually cost you anything. You think it does, right? Oh, nah, man, I gotta listen to this fucking 2-pack fucking Drake music whilst I work out. I have to listen to Drake singing about that he's the man and I'm a little bitch, right? Like, come on, dude. Like, when I speak to you in this way, I know that you understand what I'm talking about, but in the moment it might feel very differently. But the thing is, we have to overlook that, and I know that it might be a bit hard to do this, because to just cut off everything, because you might have some connections to people on these apps, but I can promise you that you will not regret getting off these apps and actually getting into real life and building like real connections instead of fucking Snapchatting these guys on like Snapchat, like I used to do. I used to have streaks with people, send gay ass little pictures to some guys in my school, right? It doesn't actually matter. It doesn't actually propel you towards your goals, and especially not in terms of nofap. And I go into great detail about this kind of stuff in the 90-day nofap protocol, which is my step-by-step blueprint on how I went from relapsing multiple times a week, fapping and watching porn all the time whilst being on nofap, whilst wanting to quit but not being able to now not even having fapped once in the last 6-7 months. I've lost fucking track at this point, but yeah, man, I've made great progress, and it's a great piece of education that I've made, and it's a fucking steal. And you can check it out down below. I hope to see you inside, bro. Now, in terms of making this transition from scrolling all the time, being on your phone, seeing all these provocative things, and listening to this rap music, this degenerate, lust-promoting music and all this content, I recommend replacing it rather than eliminating it. So the thing is that when you try to eliminate something like a habit, it can be quite difficult. You can probably relate to that in terms of nofap, right? Like, you try to just quit, but you've built up such a strong association with it in your mind that it's hard to quit, right? And so what I did was that I simply replaced these habits with more healthy, less dopaminergic versions of them. So for example, with the content, instead of scrolling on my phone, I would watch long-form educational talking head content like this, and podcasts and courses, and I would read books, so that I was actually educating myself and I was actually learning from the content that I was consuming, instead of just consuming and not doing anything with it. And in terms of music, I went from listening to rap music and all this gay fucking pop music to listening to instrumental music with no vocals, like lo-fi music, however you want to pronounce it, low fidelity. You can just search it up if you've never heard it. If you had, then you'll know what I mean. It's a very calming and relaxing type of music, and it really puts you into this high frequency, serene mode in which you're not going to fap, right? I also listen to 432 hertz music, which is kind of like a specific frequency, a specific pattern of audio that is really like healing and sort of good for the body. It's the frequency of the natural vibrations that the earth emits through the electromagnetic stuff that, I don't know all the science of it, but basically 432 hertz music, which you can search on YouTube, just see how it sounds. It's really helpful for like calming you down and getting you into more peaceful, calm state, which can be really beneficial for fapping, because we usually just fap when we get into some sort of like aroused, energetic state, when we're like, oh man, I need to fap, I need to fap, I need to jerk my fucking cock like a monkey, If you're in this calm, pristine, just serene, peaceful mode, you're not going to do that, right? You're not going to do that if you're reading, you're listening to some lo-fi music, you got some candle lit in, or you got some candles like beside you, and you got some nice people around you, you got a campfire. Like, you're not going to fap in these sorts of circumstances. You're only really going to fap when you're by yourself in your little gooning dungeon in your room, or you're on the toilet, you're tired as fuck. If you listen to like this kind of music, it's way easier to get into the first like sort of mode. You can probably get what I'm saying. At least if you actually go and listen to 432 hertz music, which you can do right now as an action step. It's not even music. It's just like humming, like ambient sounds. It's fucking amazing, man. I really love it. And that's the only music that I really listen to. Sometimes I listen to some 80s or 90s like fucking country music, like Sweet Home Alabama, or like Take Me Home Country Roads. These kinds of songs, you can search them up if you want to. And I also listen to Minecraft music, but Minecraft music is kind of like lo-fi. You know, it's instrumental, it's calming, it's relaxing. So that's what I do. And I also recommend, in terms of doing this, you might, if you want to, you can implement a progressive overload attitude, or method in terms of this stuff. You might not want to go cold turkey all the way right now and delete all of it, delete all the apps, delete all the music, the haram playlists from your Spotify right now. You might want to make a gradual transition. That's usually the easiest way to do it, because you are like your body and your mind is getting more familiar to this new style, and it's sort of easy to make the transition that way if you do it a bit gradually over time. Although if you feel really confident, then you can just like say fuck you to all the gay little fucking apps, to Mark Zuckerberg, to all these fucking companies and all the gay rap music, and you say fuck you to them, and listen to some nice lo-fi music and some 432 hertz music, and watch some listen to some podcasts, watch this kind of content, watch some courses, read some books, that kind of stuff. That's how I did it. And yeah, helps, man.